It's real talk. Yeah. With the main Chip Washington. It's real talk. Man, it's real talk with your main Chip Washington. When it comes to information, the main got an arsenal. Bring you up to speed with what you need. He's a local and nationwide news feed. Let's talk about it. Dialect to do something about it. Chip got the flow wide open if you got questions about it. Man, it's the show that brings you to your raw. To solve all problems, it starts with real talk. It's 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 real talk. Yeah. Welcome to Real Talk with your host, Chip Washington. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
And believe it or not, here we go. I am back in the air chair on this Monday. Yes, it is me. It is I, your humble host, Chip Washington, back for another edition of a show we like to call Real Talk Memphis. So happy to be back in the air chair. So happy to be back with Jack and Nicole is here tonight as well. And man, so I've been off a little bit, had a little time off, a little downtime. I didn't do much. Well, we'll talk a little bit about that later on. But feeling good, very happy to be back with you all. And I see some folks already chiming in on Facebook Live. I'm just thrilled to be back here. I told people, I said, I really miss my theme song. It's the best theme song in the country. So I had to come back just so I could hear it. And, okay, hang out with you all, too, for the next hour. We have a pretty good show for you tonight. And we're going to talk about a few things. And a little later on in the broadcast, we're going to talk about my journey or our journey, because my wife is listening as well. And she had a little bit to do with all of this journey that I've been on for the last few weeks. But feeling pretty good. Glad to be back. Santa Chip is in the house and ready to roll. So as we always do, I didn't forget. It's been a few weeks, but I didn't forget. So you're wondering, because no one reminded you how to get this fine piece of radio broadcasting. Well, I'm back, and I'm ready to do that. First, of course, you're listening to us on 91.7 WYXR on the FM side. You can also catch us on the website, which is WYXR.org. The TuneIn app, put in the station call letters, WYXR, in the search, hit play, and you'll hear me. And we are on Facebook Live, and we are a podcast. And as a podcast, you'll be able to hear us on podcast platforms all over the country when they post the show tomorrow. As I said earlier, really happy to be back, feeling pretty good. And I'm going to do a precursor thank you to all of you who reached out, to me and via social media to us. As well, just so many folks, really, so many folks, overwhelming response to all of this. It is nice to know that folks care about you when you're down, but we're back on our feet and everything is heading in the right direction. Again, more on that a bit later on in the broadcast, but heartfelt thanks, true heartfelt thanks, to all of you, and you know who you are. You may have saw a couple of stories here and there, newspaper stories, television news story, and things like that. But we'll talk more about donations and things like that later. But as we always like to do on this show, you all who have been fortunate enough to make another trip around the sun, we do this little thing we like to do to celebrate you each and every Monday. So, but as always, we can't do that until I say, hit it, Jack.
Happy birthday!
Yes. Oh, man. Look at all you folks out here. LaWanda, Braxton Talley is watching. Audrey Hill is watching. Cousin Liddell is watching. And Lakeisha, and I don't know who else is down there. But anyway, Let's get on to the birthdays. Happy birthdays going out to Eric Harris Jones. Happy birthday, Crystal Blair, Felicia Williams, Brian Nesbitt, Mike Cornell, Clyde Eric Brown. Happy birthday to you. Shannon Elizabeth Davis. Happy birthday. Don Higgins. The columnist Jackson Baker is his birthday as well. Recently, I think yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, celebrating a birthday. Tiffany Boyce. I know Tiffany. We hung out together over at MLGW. Tomorrow's birthdays include Mr. Ken Job, Miss Janet Chestnut, and Michael Clark. Also, Harold Collins. So happy birthday to each and every one. Congratulations for making that another rotation around the sun, as they like to say, and I'm glad to have you with us, and we look forward to celebrating your special day again next year. Thank you, Jack. Man, I tell you, there's been some news going on in the last few weeks, a little bit too much to encapsulate, but I will tell you this. Right before I got out of the car and came in here, I did hear that Omicron is now the dominant variant in the United States. It seemed like it just got here. I mean, literally, but it is now the dominant variant in this country. And of course, you know, many of you who still don't really want to talk about COVID or hear about COVID, it is still a part of our lives. It's the holiday season. A lot of folks are out. Kids are out of school. Folks probably starting today are off until the new year and won't be back until January. And many of the pundits are saying that could be an interesting time next month. We will see about all of that. Of course, you've seen now sports events are starting to become canceled. Football games have been postponed and moved. There were over 150 players in the NFL who tested positive for COVID in 1 week. Of course, they had a rescheduled game that's on right now. There's another game that's been rescheduled to tomorrow. Basketball games, both college and pro, have been canceled or postponed. The University of Memphis was supposed to play on Saturday at Knoxville, UT. That game was canceled at the last minute because of COVID concerns. They have also canceled their game tomorrow here. I think it's against South Alabama, if I'm not mistaken, because players are sick with COVID. Now, here's the debate. Here's where it all rolls out on the table. You know, a lot of us are vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. Many of you I know are vaccinated, have 2 and even 3 shots. I've had a booster as well. But now the national folks are saying everybody needs to get a booster. Everybody needs to get a booster. If you are vaccinated and you do get COVID, apparently it is pretty resistant to the Omicron variant. You could still get sick, but your symptoms will be minor in scope versus those of you who are unvaccinated who get it. Your symptoms will be a lot greater, and you may wind up in the hospital, and you may not wind up leaving the hospital. So, you know, again, there's that debate. And somebody asked me earlier today, where are we going with all this, Chip? And I said, I really don't know, but it's almost like a rolling scale from week to week. But what it boils down to is it is your choice, it is your right, it is your responsibility. Either get a COVID shot and you know, deal with what we have to deal with on a daily basis, or not, and deal with what you might have to deal with on a daily basis. Clearly and totally up to you. Also, many of you probably were aware they had the homegoing ceremony for young Dolph over the weekend at the FedEx Forum. It was packed, of course. He had a street named after him over at Airways and Dunn, as well as salute and tributes pouring in for him as well. The violence doesn't seem to stop in this city. We are still seeing record deaths and record homicides, and we'll set another record before the end of the year. That's not something that we are proud of. We are undermanned as a police force, some 1,900 when we really need about 2,400. So way down in that department as well. We're going to talk to my first guest in just a few minutes about his efforts to try to connect with the streets and the individuals in the streets and have conversations with these young folks about what's on their mind, what they're dealing with and things like that. So I look forward to chatting with him in just a few minutes. Speaking of that, My guests do include tonight the Reverend Dr. Walter Womack. He's my first guest. He is the senior pastor of Faithful Baptist Church and also the president of the local Southern Christian Leadership Conference, or SCLC. He's going to talk about his efforts to go out into the streets, take the pulpit into the streets and talk to these young folks about what's on their mind and challenge other folks to do the same. Also, a little bit later on in the broadcast, we are going to speak with the newly elected president of the 100 Black Men organization. His name is Nate Ollie. And of course, it is one of the premier, mentoring programs here in the city. We're going to find out kind of what they're doing to help those less fortunate, as they always do during this holiday season, and also what his agenda is for 2022. And in the second half hour of the show, and I hope you stick around. Of course, you all do know that, or some of you know, maybe a few of you know that I donated a kidney last year, right before Thanksgiving, basically so that my wife could get a kidney. And we are going to talk to Dr. James Eason. Dr. Eason is the director and namesake of the Eason Transplant Institute at Methodist University Hospital. He's going to talk to us about all of that, and paired kidney donations and just organ donations, period. So we're going to have a good show on tap for you as well. Now, starting today, there are folks who are interested in running for elective office. Today is the day that candidates in Shelby County can qualify for the primary, which is in May 3rd of next year. File your qualifying petition, so you'll probably see more and more names starting to fill out these vacant seats. And you got the county commission; all those seats are up for grab. Of course, you got the county mayor's seat, you have the district attorney seat, you have the sheriff's race, and I mean, there will be a lot of folks running for a lot of offices between now and then. So that bears watching, as well. I did talk a little bit about all of the COVID situations in terms of the cancellations, and locally case numbers here in Shelby County have doubled. So I'm sure the health department folks are paying very close attention to that and making some determinations as to what they may or may not do. Did you know that Christmas is Saturday? It's actually 5 days away. Christmas. That's why, I have my Santa hat on. So, if any of you feel generous enough to want to give Santa Chip, a present this year, you know how to find me. It's not hard to find me. But anyway, yeah, you only have a few more days of shopping between now and Saturday. And the Beale Street Music Festival acts were named today. And they are, there's a few of them. This is apparently the first list of folks, which includes the Foo Fighters, 3 6 Mafia, Lil Wayne, the Smashing Pumpkins, Da Baby, Moneybagg Yo, and Lindsey Buckingham, just to name a few. Lindsey Buckingham was formerly of Fleetwood Mac. So we're gonna stop here with all the news and notes, and we're gonna take our first break. And I gotta see, Joe Birch is watching. Thank you, Joe. I love Joe Birch. Sarah is checking us out tonight. Randy P. Leslie is watching. Galen Sparkle Brown. Hi, Galen. How you doing? I'm glad to see you. Constance Fields checking us out tonight as well. And I'm sure that there are more folks that I can't see right now, besides the ones I named a few minutes ago. Let me see. Okay, I got all those folks. And if anyone else is checking us out tonight, we're going to try to see if we can, shout you out as well. Really appreciate you. Hi, Constance. Glad to see you. Hey, we are back. This is Real Talk Memphis on this Monday, the 20th of December. I am your humble host, Chip Washington, and I'm so very happy to be back with you all on this night and back in this chair. We're going to take our first break. We'll be back right after this.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Rust College is now accepting applications for the fall 2022 semester. For more information, visit rustcollege.edu or contact admissions at 662-252-8000, extension 4043. Rust College, where tomorrow's leaders are students today.
The stuff that WYXR brings to the airwaves is already playing in the parking lots and basements where the next generation's journey is just getting started. And we can't imagine building the brands we do without the role music played in our lives. No matter what kind of art you make, music is what sets you on your path. Loaded for Bear is proud to support WYXR and community radio everywhere.
The Brooks is open in Overton Park, home to Memphis art collection since 1916. The Memphis Brooks Museum of Art holds the largest collection of world art in the region, with more than 10,000 works spanning 5,000 years of art and cultures. Remember, every Wednesday is free and open until 8 p.m. They are a proud sponsor of WYXR. For more information about the museum and their exhibitions, visit brooksmuseum.org. You belong at the Brooks.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday, December 20th. Very happy to be back with you in the air chair on this evening. And I'm very happy to have my first guest with me tonight. Saw him on the news a few weeks back. We are all very aware and very concerned about the escalating violence that we see on our streets on a daily basis. It's not a secret. It's nothing in the cloud. I mean, it's very out in the open. We are losing folks left and right and left, and there really does not seem to be much concern as to whether it's a male, a female, or a child. Well, Reverend Dr. Walter Womack, who is the pastor of Faithful Baptist Church and the president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference here in Memphis, is my first guest. And first of all, Dr. Womack, or Reverend Womack, thank you so much for being on Real Talk tonight. Thanks. Glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So, a few weeks ago, saw you on the news, and you actually made the conscious decision to go out into these streets and meet these youngsters, where they live. We've all been struggling, and there's always conversations every week about when someone else dies, what do we do? What can we do? What is the solution to the problem? How do we handle the issue? Well, you have taken your church to the streets, and I wanted you to basically tell us kind of what you found out. First of all, why you decided to take that effort on, and what you learned from the young people that you talked to out there.
First of all, the main reason that I decided to take this issue on because God called me to do this after much prayer. Mm-hmm. And when I sit back on a daily basis and see the onslaught of crime and individuals losing their lives and how devastating it was to our communities and in our city, God gave me what I call the Love Crusade Initiative for fighting crime in our communities. Joining me with this initiative, joining the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, is the Memphis Baptist Ministerial Alliance, where I am the chairman of crime intervention. Okay. Within our association, which is 450 churches, pastors, and they are, and I brought the concern to the president that we need to get out and do more in our city, in our communities, as it relates to crime. One of the issues that I felt was so important that I think that the church needs to be more viable and more visible within our communities. Not saying that we are not, but I think there's more that we can do when we see how much crime is in our city, in our communities, in our neighborhoods. So the Love Crusade Initiative for fighting crime, we believe and know that love never fails. There was a song out years ago, a blues song said there's no love in the heart of the city.
Right.
But I bet the difference. But there is some love. We just need more of it because when love will replace hate, and we know when a person loves someone, he won't commit a murder or kill them or do any violent acts when there's true love there. And so if we can exemplify love, and then if we can spread the gospel of love to these individuals, to these young people, young persons, then I believe that we can bring about a change in their hearts and mind, and they change the way that they think and the way they react. I think that we can have a positive outcome and a positive outlook as far as it relates to crime in our city.
So, I'm sorry to interrupt, Reverend Womack. I just wanted to first of all let people know, if you're just tuning in, thank you for doing that. And secondly, we are speaking with Reverend Dr. Walter Womack. He is the president of the local Southern Christian Leadership chapter and the pastor of Faithful Baptist Church, and he was talking about his love crusade, basically to go out in the streets and talk to the young people, where they are. And I guess before we get too far into this, Reverend Womack, when you did have conversations with some of these young folks, first of all, how was it received? And secondly, what message did you get from them? What did you hear when you went out on your listening tour?
As we engaged some of these young people that were out in the park that day, we was in Southside Park, and we went and visited some of the community grocery stores, corner stores. And the most interesting thing to me was the young persons who was talking about they need more people to listen to them, to have empathy, and to be more visible. And they needed more things to do in the community. And I asked one of them, I said, what do you think that we as pastors and leaders could do towards the community as it relates to you young people? And his response was to be more visible, to listen to them, to try to understand their plight, and understand what the peer pressure that they was up against as far as poverty in their communities, and just having a listening ear to try to see their mindset and find out where they are. And then when you find out where a person are and where a person thinks, then you can really, if you listen to them, then you can engage them and help them. And so I think that's one of the most important things, that we must have a listening ear. We must come up with solutions to meet these young people right where they are, because you really can't understand a person unless you walk in their shoes.
There you go.
There you go. And so that's one of the things that that I found out as we was out in the street.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought. I
said they were, and the young people was real receptive of us being there.
Yeah. So one of the things that you mentioned is something that we hear over and over and over again, which is there is not enough activity out here for young people. There isn't enough for them to do, particularly when school is out. They just, other than to wander the streets, hang out on the street corners and do things like that, that has always seemed to have been a big, big issue. But one of the things you also mentioned was really meeting them where they are, listening to them, showing compassion and showing love. One of my listeners here on Facebook Live said that she's been talking about, really, going out to where they live and really not having and, showing them the compassion and the love. Because I think a lot of these young people do need somebody to maybe wrap their arms around them and tell them they're not bad and tell them that they can do good. Is that, am I on the right track with that?
Absolutely. I remember when I was a youngster, when I was a young teenager and a young boy coming up, the older guys in the neighborhood, they would take us to the basketball court. They would take us to pitch horseshoes. They would keep us on the right track. They they showed that they cared about us, and they instilled this care, and I seen the care and the compassion that they really cared about me. They would be big brothers to us, and so I think we're missing that today within the communities. These young men need more of us leaders and big brothers and pastors to be engage them and meet them where they are and talk to them and guide them and mentor them. And so right now, SCLC is joining forces with the other pastors, and that we're going to be engaging them and asking for, okay, let's come up with basketball courts. Let's come up with things for our young people to do, to give them something to do. We know that our idle mind is the devil playground, so we must be viable, visible, and then we'll be victorious in this fight against crime within our communities.
You know, that's something that we don't really hear as much as we need to hear. And for those of you just joining us, we are speaking with the Reverend Dr. Walter Womack, president of the local SCLC chapter, Southern Christian Leadership Conference. He's also the pastor of Faithful Baptist Church, and he is basically leading a crusade of other pastors, ministers, religious groups, and organizations. I learned a long time ago, Reverend Womack, that the church is much greater than the four walls of the building that it resides in, and it seems like you understand that as well.
Absolutely. Jesus commanded us to go out. He said, go out into the hedges and the byways and compel them to come in. He came to seek and to save those that were lost. Matthew 5:16 says, but let your light so shine before men. What light was Matthew talking about? He was talking about the light, the love of God.
That's right.
And when people can see the love of God and we exemplify it, and then we spread the gospel of love to our young persons, our young men and women, and try to draw them in. And then this love will change their heart and give them a total outlook on life. And they won't want to live a life of violence and crime. But then we must also look at some of the root causes of crime. We know that poverty is running rampant in our communities, in the inner city communities, and we know poverty has a direct correlation to crime. And so we must get out. We must attack that agenda, poverty. We must educate our young people, and so there's much work to do. And so when you look at the blight in our communities, that sends a signal to our young people that nobody cares. When we look at those issues, our young people got to get up and they got to ride through their neighborhoods, and there's blight and crime, and there's no sense of caring in our community.
Yeah.
So that must change. Yeah. And we as leaders in the church has we must get out, and the church has power. And so I know there's a lot of churches that are doing great work. I'm not saying that I'm the only church, that there are other churches that are doing a great work, but I'm talking about what Faithful Baptists at SCLC and others have joined forces. And our goal, our initiative is to bring about a change in our communities and city as far as it relates to crime. So we must be vigilant. We must not give up. We must not give up on our young people, because there are some good young people that need somebody to reach out to them and say, look, brother, this is the way you go. You can be anything you want to be.
Absolutely.
You don't have to take this route.
Absolutely. Reverend Dr. Walter Womack, I thank you for being the man of God that you are, and someone who is clearly concerned about all elements of our city, not just a specific area and location. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your schedule to come on our show tonight and talk to us about how important it is to extend ourselves outside ourselves for the betterment of others. I really appreciate you, and I want to have you back on the show in the future, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Chip.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And I read the articles about your compassion, and you're a hero, and I just want you to know that, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. God bless you, man. I appreciate hearing that. Reverend Dr. Walter.
We need more brothers like you to get out.
Man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. I take that challenge. I absolutely do. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Walter Womack. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you. Well, that was a great way to start the show. And, of course, he's absolutely right about the fact that, we need to do less talking and more walking. And we need to get out here and talk and preach. And that's why I have great men like him on this broadcast, hopefully to be able to hear and touch someone's heart and spirit. Because it takes all of us. It's not just what he's doing and his organization is doing. It takes all of us, because the problem is not just inherent to us in particular. It's everybody's problem. Our problem is everybody's problem, especially our young people. Thank you so much for that conversation. We're going to take our second break, and when we come back, I don't see him up there, but hopefully we will have our next guest, who is Nate Ollie. Nate is the president, the newly elected president of the 100 Black Men organization of Memphis. And we're going to talk to him about their agenda moving forward into 2022 and some of the things that are on his mind. Thank you all for being with us tonight. I see there were some more folks here. I see Linda P. Scott Hardaway is on, and I did see a couple of other folks chimed in there. Diane Towns is on as well. Thank you for your comments, Diane, as well. Really appreciate this. Welcome back. It's very, very nice to have you all with me, and it's always nice to be back on this fine radio station. And speaking of that, thank the folks out there. The leadership here, Robbie Grant and JB and Shelby, for their kindness and their understanding in this situation. And we'll talk more about the transplant and everything else that goes along with it. I have a lot of thanks to give out by the end of this broadcast. But this is Real Talk Memphis. I am your humble host, Chip Washington. Take another break. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page, and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
The Dillard family of companies, including Dillard Door and Security, Tri-State Glass, and Trace Electric, are proud sponsors of WYXR. For the past 75 years, the Dillard companies have provided products that secure Memphis. From installing the iconic gates at Graceland to the Memphis Tigers Liberty Bowl locker room, Dillard protects what matters to Memphians like you. For more information, visit dillarddoor.com.
Taking my love for granted.
The stuff that WYXR brings to the airwaves is already playing in the parking lots and basements where the next generation's journey is just getting started. And we can't imagine building the brands we do without the role music played in our lives. No matter what kind of art you make, music is what sets you on your path. Loaded for Bear is proud to support WYXR and community radio everywhere.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis. Hello, Cassandra Corbin Blake. I see you watching. Bishop Bob Midget, thank you for checking us out as well tonight. And all of the rest of the folks, if I didn't say your name, hey, charge it to my head, not my heart, because my heart is full on this evening. And I am happy to be back in the air chair, and I'm really happy to have my next guest on, because this organization is one that we are all very aware of for the fine work they do in and throughout our community. And as we end this year and get into another year, we have a newly elected president, and his name is Nate Ollie. He is the newly, as I said, new president of the 100 Black Men Organization of Memphis. And Nate, very happy to have you on the show. Welcome to Real Talk.
Chip, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Absolutely that, man. So listen, congratulations on being elected the newly elected president of the organization, along with some of your newly elected fellow officers. We were talking, basically for those who aren't really familiar with what the 100 Black Men organization does. I am, but there are some who may not be. Tell them really what the goal of the organization is, what the mission of the 100 Black Men organization is.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 100 Black Men of America actually was founded on the basis of mentorship. So we are a mentorship organization to its core. Mm-hmm. Now we have expanded our vision as an organization over the years. However, mentorship is still the core of what we do. But there are 4 major initiatives or areas of impact that we seek to deliver into the community as an organization, and those are mentoring, obviously number 1, but education, economic empowerment, and health and wellness as well. So those are our focal points, and that's what those are the areas that we're looking to drive impact in the Memphis community.
Well, that is a pretty healthy agenda, and of course, you all have done extraordinarily work, especially with our young people. So as the newly elected president, as we are ending one year and entering into another year, I'm sure that you have thought long and hard about the agenda of the organization, your agenda, and some of the things that you want to do as we head into 2022. Would you please share some of those with our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, we have as a local chapter in Memphis, we have grown a lot over the last couple of years.
Yes.
We've seen a tremendous amount of growth, which is great. Mm-hmm. But I want to continue I want to focus on to continue growing, to bring more members in, to honestly drive the average age of membership down a little bit, get some younger brothers that are looking to really get their hands dirty and get involved with the organization and get involved with the community. So growing is still high on our list of things to do, but also making sure that every brother is engaged as well to the level that they want to be, right? There is a lot of work to do, especially in Memphis. As we both know, Memphis is at the top of a very undesirable list right now, being the most dangerous city to live in the country. So there's no shortage of work to be done. So we need hands on deck. We need more boots on the ground. There's strength in numbers, and when everyone's moving as a unit, then you can do some real good work in the community. So that's definitely something that is very, very important to us moving forward over the next couple of years. And also, we have a number of partnerships that we're excited about. The biggest one I can say that we're most excited about is the Collegiate 100 chapter that we've just gotten established at Lemoyne College.
Talk about that, if you will. Talk about that. Yeah, I heard about that program. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Collegiate 100 is really it's a collegiate group supported by the 100 Black Men of America, and the objective is to develop and nurture these young men and women, because the Collegiate 100 is actually a co-ed organization, mentoring and developing these young men and women so that they can be valuable contributors to society. So on a local level in our chapter, we're definitely going to focus on the students at Lemoyne and helping develop their soft skills, their presentation skills, their speaking skills, teaching them how to network, things that are transferable throughout their professional and personal lives, and exposing them to different scholarship opportunities, internship opportunities, and ultimately job opportunities is what we're aiming to do with the Collegiate 100. So very, very excited. We've got a lot of students that are kicking off and chartering the chapter. So we're very excited about that. And a lot of brothers willing to help and pour into the students at Lemoyne as well.
Speaking with Nate Ollie, he is the newly elected president of the 100 Black Men of Memphis organization. And, parroting on what you just talked about, that to me is extraordinarily exciting. I mean, because these young people really need guidance and to be prepared to take over to be the next leaders. I mean, we're all, none of us are going to be here forever, and we always have to groom the next generation. You're a young man yourself, but to have these young folks in college, who many of them may be deciding or trying to figure out what path they want to take or where they want to go. They're going to be our future leaders, in and around our city and county. So this really is a very extraordinarily important component, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the slogan for the 100 Black Men of America is what they see is what they'll be. So you hit the nail on the head right there, Chip. We want to be present in these students' lives. We want them to see and be exposed to the outlets that are out there, the things that can get them out of the streets and can shift their mind and their mindset and just and deliver them from the results that we've always seen coming out of Memphis. So that you hit the nail on the head, and that's what we're striving to do.
Man, when I listen to you talk and when I listen, to what the mission of the organization is, I think it's in good hands. I mean, you all have done such amazing work, for so many years, and to be a part of an organization that speaks to the highest level of integrity, and basically you guys are really following almost the same theme of my first guest, Reverend Womack was talking about. It's not about being inside the building. It's about being out on the streets, in the schools, on the campuses, making a difference and showing young people what a professional organization is and the individuals that you have inside your organization. So there is a major role to play, as a group and as an organization. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, there's no shortage of work to be done in that regard, especially in a city like Memphis. Yeah. There's no shortage of youth that needs to be touched. They need attention. They need people to pour into them and show, like you said, show them that there's another way. Show them what the possibilities are. And we've got brothers in our chapter that all across the spectrum in terms of what they do for a living and the things that they've accomplished. Exactly. So just allowing them to see just a multitude of different brothers and having them come in and speak to them and not just lecture to them, but get a dialogue going, make a connection with these students and really just pour into them. I can't say that enough because that's really what they need right now.
Absolutely, they do. Nate Ollie, thank you so much. The new president of the 100 Black Men of Memphis organization. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for your compassion and your commitment to the city and making us a better place. I'd like to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and happy holidays and Happy New Year. And hopefully you'll come back in 2022 and tell us about where things stand with the 100 as we move forward. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Chip. And before I go, if I could just say one thing.
Sure.
The 100 normally has a holiday event, an annual holiday event.
Yes.
And we are not having one in 2021, but in lieu of a holiday party, we are partnering with Knowledge Quest.
Okay.
And we are gifting 20 bikes to elementary students and those elementary students who receive a bike will also participate in a bike safety training course held by Memphis High Trailers.
Okay.
And this event will be held Thursday at Gaston Community Center from 1 to 3. So I did want to put that out there because, like I said, we're not having a holiday party, but we're still getting back to the community this week so some kids can get some bikes.
Man, that's wonderful. Wonderful. God bless you for doing that. And thank you for mentioning that as well. Hopefully, if anybody who missed this show catches it a little bit later, they will hear the information again. But thank you, Nate, for coming on the show. I really appreciate you, man. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you too, Chip. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Absolutely. Nate Ollie, ladies and gentlemen, president of the 100 Black Men Association here in Memphis, Tennessee. They're doing some great things, and it looks like 2022 is not going to be any different. We're going to take our final break, and when we come back, hopefully we will have Dr. James Eason. I don't see him on my queue yet, but hopefully he'll be there. He is the director of the Transplant Institute at Methodist University Hospital that bears his name. This is Real Talk Memphis. What's up, Drill? I see you there. Clifford, thank you for checking in. I see Myron Lowry, the honorable one, Myron Lowry, checking in as well. I am Chip, your humble host. Very happy to be back. This is, as I said, Real Talk. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Hi there, 1D here on Gospel Talk back in the day, playing great gospel music and talking to artists from the past. Tune me in every Saturday from 12 o'clock noon until 2 o'clock p.m. on 91.7 FM Memphis.
Hey Memphis, my name is Ron Buck. I am looking forward to bringing you my show, Riverside, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. I will be playing rock and blues, old and new, and featuring Memphis music and events. I hope you'll tune in to Riverside every Friday at 1 p.m. on WYXR 91.7 FM, Raised by Sound.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis, back live and on the air on this Monday. I'm your humble host, Chip Washington. And as we alluded to at the beginning of this broadcast, my wife and I underwent dual surgeries a few weeks ago. I donated a kidney through the kidney pairing program, which my next guest is going to talk about in just a minute. To someone out there who needed one, it's sort of as a kind of a secular thing. Someone in their pairing group donated a kidney so that my wife could get a new kidney, which she needed because she was pretty sick. And I'm really happy to report that she's doing well, and I'm doing well. And we're all doing well. Everything is good. I'm very pleased to welcome my next guest, Dr. James D. Eason. He is the director of the Transplant Institute that bears his name at Methodist University Hospital. And Dr. Eason, I am really thrilled to have you on the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Chip. And I'm very glad to hear that you and your wife are both doing well after your operations.
Absolutely that. And, we talked about this, and I know you don't remember because you see a lot of people, but our journey started really in the early part of 2019. Obviously she was diagnosed with a very rare type of kidney disease that a lot of people don't live to talk about. And so we, came in to talk about kidney donation. And of course I wanted to be a direct donor, and I wasn't a match. And a lot of our people in our circle, none of us was a match. I decided to not accept that as an answer, and basically wanted to find out what, if any, option was available beside direct donation. And you told us about the kidney pairing donation process. And if you wouldn't mind laying that out for our listeners, just what that is.
Sure, Chip. Thank you for your perseverance in wanting to be a donor. We need many more like you. There are numerous ways you can be a live donor. The process that you just spoke about was called a paired exchange. And one protocol that we use at the James Eason Transplant Institute at Methodist University Hospital is the National Kidney Registry.
Mm-hmm.
The United Network for Organ Sharing, which is a government contractor, also has a paired exchange program, as well as there are several other paired exchange programs in the country.
Right.
But basically the way the process works is someone like you who wants to donate to a loved one, or it could even be a donor that doesn't even know the person. They just know they want to donate. They donate a kidney, which prior to donation goes into a computer pool, so to speak, and the computer matches that kidney to someone else at another center somewhere else in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so that way, and we call that process a chain. So you donated to someone, that person could actually be donating to someone else in the country, and so on down the line. And there have been chains, I believe, as high as in 40-something donor and recipient pairs that are being transplanted within a 24 to 48-hour period.
Wow. That's it's an incredible program, but there is a lot that goes into this. I mean, there's a lot of testing. There are a lot of things that have to all the stars have to align. I remember when I came in, I was overweight and my blood pressure was a little on the erratic side. And I remember when you visited with us the first time, and when you walked out of the room, the last thing you said to me was, lose some weight. and so I ended up losing 30 pounds and, eating better. And I closed my Hostess Sweet Shop in my bedroom, and my wife started making smoothies and with protein and a lot of other things. And anyway, I got down to where I needed to get to. And right before we were about ready to embark on all of this, COVID hit. And when COVID hit, everything stopped. So it basically took another year to be able to do this. But there really are many checks and balances to all of this, are there not?
That's right. Well, thankfully, you did what it took to become a donor. And not only did you save your wife's life, but you're a much healthier person now as well. So the first thing above all, we want to make sure that we don't make a healthy person sick.
Mm-hmm.
So our whole evaluation of a possible live donor is designed to protect that donor, to try to do everything we can to identify any medical problems that they may have that we need to address to make it safe for them to be a donor, and including doing the CT scan, which you had to make sure that the anatomy of the kidney is okay to be used, and more importantly, not only that kidney can be used, but that your remaining kidney is going to be have enough function to keep you alive for a long time.
Yeah.
And we have about 1,000 patients on our kidney list and about another 100 patients on our liver list at any given time. And we're also doing live donor liver transplants as well, where we're taking a piece of someone's liver and giving that to another person. And with the liver, it actually grows back in the person that donates, and it grows in the person who receives it. So live donation, therefore, if performed properly, as you say, with the checks and balances, we keep a healthy person healthy, and we make a sick person well.
Well, it's a fascinating process, and we're speaking with Dr. James Eason. He is the director of the James D. Eason Transplant Institute at Methodist University Hospital. And when you mention that, it really it's what's interesting is, Dr. Eason, many people don't really know that this program exists, this pairing program exists. Do you find that to be the case?
Well, I think that just puts the impetus on us to make it more well known. And thank you for this opportunity to make it more well known.
Yeah, sure.
Every year, in fact, this year has been the most transplants ever performed in the United States. As of last week, the United States had performed a total of over 40,000 transplants this calendar year. And the year's not over yet.
Right.
And yet only about 10% of those are coming from live donors, mostly in the kidney range and also in the liver range. Occasionally, you can do a live donor lung transplant or a part of a pancreas as well. But anybody that wants to be a donor, the first thing they need to do is just let their loved ones know whether they want to be a live donor or a deceased donor. Let your loved ones know so that if you die, they know that you wanted to be a donor. And if you're alive, all you have to do is pick up the phone and give us a call, and we will see if you're healthy enough to be a donor, and if there are any health issues that we need to address to make it safe for the donor. And if they don't have a specific person they want to donate to, we help find someone that is a compatible recipient, or go through the paired exchange program as you did.
Well, I got to tell you, you all at Methodist University Hospital, top notch. We received excellent care. Thank you, Dr. Eason, for coming on the show tonight and explaining a little bit about how important this process is. Really appreciate your work and everything that you've done, and we hope that maybe your message has pierced to someone's heart, and maybe we can do even more in terms of transplants.
Well, thank you so much, Chip, and thank you for helping us spread the good news.
God bless you. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and Happy New Year. Thanks for coming on the show. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Well, that was Dr. James Eason. As I said, he is the director, and that Transplant Institute has his name on it. It's an amazing program. It really is. Now, I want to, before I get out of here, there's so many folks to thank in reference to us, and of course, at the top of the list are the folks at Methodist University, the Transplant Institute out there. They treated us, amazingly well. They took care of us out there as well, and it was just it was quite the experience. It was an extraordinary experience. It was the greatest thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I said to myself, my prayer to God was, allow me to do something that's greater than myself. We appreciate all the well wishes, all the prayers, all the support, all the love, all the encouragement from so many people. Our church, Fullview Missionary Baptist Church, kept a very close tabs on us and reached out to us in extraordinary ways that we can't begin to thank them enough. Pastor Williams, Audra, who was like a second mother to us around. She came over every other day to make sure that we were doing well. Folks extending themselves and wanting to take us wherever we needed to go, wanting to go shopping for us, wanting to bring us food, and we have more food than we'll be able to eat in a couple of lifetimes. I think it's safe to say. I really am very touched by all of you out there. Many of you, we don't know each other personally. We know each other through social media and things like that. But the outpouring of support. David Waters did an amazing article about all of this in the Daily Memphian. Thank you, David. We were on Channel 3 Live at 9. They talked a little bit about this. Fox 13 did a story about this. Because it is a rare situation, and I gotta admit, I don't like talking too much about it because I get a little emotional because, my wife was sick, and it was a tough go for a while, and I have to admit, being very concerned there for a while, just hoping and praying. She never lost faith. She's a praying woman. She never lost faith. She never lost trust in God and believed that everything was going to turn out. When we last saw her nephrologist before all this took place, he basically kind of let us know that she was in a tough spot. And I think one of the last things he said was, if you feel sick, talking about her, go to the emergency room. Well, nobody wants to hear that. I'm not a hero. I'm just a person who did what needed to be done. And that's all. And I'm glad that it turned out the way it did. Wanda is doing better each and every day. I'm doing better as well. I have a scar that I can look down to and say, hey, yeah, I did that. So I'm thankful to the Lord for allowing all of it to happen, and everything to this point is good. And as Jack plays us out, it's just incredible to be back on the show. I missed it terribly, and I missed you all terribly. Thank you all for chiming in tonight. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting this show. And keep supporting this show because, we're trying to do good things around here, but we can't do it without you. And if you feel so compelled to look into organ donation to someone, please do that because it's definitely needed. For Jack, for Nicole, for Lola, who's not here, but she's here in spirit, I'm Chip. God bless each and every one of you. We are Real Talk Memphis, and we are out.